Hello, everyone, and welcome to Anime Club After Dark, the podcast that delves into all things anime, manga, and otaku culture related. I'm your host, Alex, but you can call me Senpai, and joining me tonight, we have our Wizard of Wait What, Chinoda.
Boop string!
Oh god, that was very loud. Now that you have destroyed the ears of all of our listeners, and given a great indication of what we're actually going to be talking about tonight. Yes, boys and girls, we are going to be doing a spoiler cast of the Don Machi movie, Arrow of the Orion. So you and I got to see this premiered in the U.S. the same week as Otakon. So you and I actually got to see this together in D.C., which is a new thing for us. So we actually saw this the same week you and I saw the movie premiere.
Yeah, that was a
By the way,
great date night. I loved it.
Yeah. Spoiler. Well, not so much a spoiler, but definitely check out Premiere when it's in theaters in the U.S. in September. Was it September 17th and 19th?
And 21st, I think?
No, and 20th. 17th, 19th, and 20th. And we also have a spoiler cast coming for that movie as well after it premieres, the week after it premieres here in the U.S. So we've already recorded that after as of the time of this recording. So definitely look forward to that. But yeah, tonight we're going to be talking about the Don Machi movie, Arrow of the Orion. So I think the best thing for us to do starting off is I think we have to mention this for sake of clarity. So the theater you and I went to go watch this in was number one, it's a really nice theater. But number two, there were some technical difficulties at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
We didn't realize it until after the opening studio logos and stuff played. But there was no sound for the first little bit of this, so someone that was in the theater went to go tell
several people went off to go tell that, actually,
to tell them that the sound wasn't working, and hey, could you perhaps rewind it because there's no sound. And eventually they did, but we had about, I would say, a good 5 or 10 minutes there. Maybe not 10 minutes, but at least a good 5 minutes, the first 5 minutes of the movie, where we were watching it without sound. Now, granted, the subtitles were definitely playing, and I made mention that this is a new experience for me because this is exactly how deaf people experience anime, and I'm like, and I said this out loud in a moderately crowded theater. I said, "This is the way that a silent voice was meant to be seen."
Don't worry, everyone. Hysterical. I did groan at that,
but everyone else thought it was fucking hysterical. But something else that happened, another person who was sitting in the same row as us, but down a little bit, blurted out, "Does anyone know how to do live dubbing?" And my mind instantly, my mind instantly went to the same thing. I'm like, wait a minute, I can do a few impressions. And I said out loud, "Well, I can do a really good impression of Christopher Walken. Do you want me to make Bell Christopher Walken?" And he's like, "Yeah." And all of a sudden, it blurted out, "Wow, that's your boobs. They're amazing."
There were so many laughs.
You ever seen that girl eyes? She's pretty good. I like her a lot. And then I had another thought, which I actually didn't get a chance to do, but I thought I can do a pretty good Donald Trump. So I thought, what if I make Hesty a Donald Trump? It's like, "Yo, Belle, my familia is the best. You have to join my..." I had way too much fun with this.
You're so stupid. God.
Hermes, look at Hermes over there. He's definitely not the best. We need to build a wall around Orion.
All right. Enough.
All right, moving on. I just thought for just clarity's sake, I thought it was worth mentioning that there were technical difficulties for the theater we went to watching this movie. I'd be very interested to find out if the same thing happened in any other theaters, if anybody watched it. in a local theater near them. Because I have heard of things like this happening in the past with anime movie premieres in theaters. But I will say the group of people that we had in our theater watching it with us definitely took it in stride, because there was a lot of joking going on in the period where we didn't have any sound.
Yeah, like if you ever go to a convention or something and just watch anime in a room or hentai in a room together, my God, that's when the community really comes out. Like everyone's just joking around, making fun of everything. It's great. It is honestly a damn good experience. I rem
That is that is the biggest positive I can say as to why you should definitely go to video rooms at conventions. Is because there's a lot of people who will give you running commentary of the movie, and some of it turns out to be pretty damn funny.
Yeah. Now, like sometimes if you're legitimately there for to actually just check it out, it's not the best place to go to sometimes because people are talking and all that or just having fun. But you're at a convention, though. You like that's where what you go there for.
Yeah. But it is the biggest reason I tell people go to the video rooms, especially if you have absolutely nothing else to do and you don't want to spend a bunch of money in the dealer's room. Just go find a video room playing something you've seen before, and you can just sit in there, relax, and
Just
perhaps listen to some
interact with
running
the
commentary.
community. It's fucking great. It's some of the best times I've ever had.
Yeah.
Little tidbit story time. Years ago, like way back in the day, when went to a con. I don't even remember which con I was at. There was this like old Japanese movie playing. I don't even remember what it's called. All I remember is like it was about some people going up to space to the moon or something or some other planet, and like they had to fight aliens, and like it was a really old style Japanese movie. It was they took it so seriously, this movie. But my God, we were clowning that movie so hard. And like everyone was just losing their shit. Some of the best time I've ever had at a convention.
And this,
It's,
boys and girls, is the joy of Mystery Science Theater 3000.
yeah, I mean, it really is. If you've never seen it or heard of it, please do yourself a favor and check it out. Trust us.
I think I could sell this idea of doing something like that, but for like really shitty anime.
Oh God.
Because all they do on MSTK 3000 is just riff
Rip
on
on
shitty
stuff.
movies.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking I could do this. We could do the same thing with shitty anime.
Let's start off with SAO.
Absolutely. Oh man. Getting back to the spoiler cast at hand, though. So the Danmachi movie. I've said this in the past, and I think it bears repeating. I don't know why I like Danmachi, but I do, because everything about Danmachi screams mediocre, but I still love it. Um, and I have to say that this movie overall kind of ticks that mediocre box a lot, but I still pretty much enjoyed it. What about you, Chinoda? What was your enjoyment level of this movie as compared to other?
Oh, I fucking loved it. It's really, really basic. There is nothing to write home about. Nothing like that at all. It's just something you go there to watch it and enjoy it. It's just a more
Yeah,
generic movie, but it's anime. And it's
yeah,
of a franchise that you know.
yeah.
And
I
I
mean,
genuinely enjoyed it, though. It was fine for me. It was fun. It was a good hour and a half or something like that.
it's 80 minutes long.
Okay, 80 minutes. Yeah, I had a good time with it.
Yeah. I will say the story itself does take on that sort of very familiar, kind of cliche at this point, like King Arthur chosen hero story. Also worth pointing out, this is a complete side story that is not in the original novels at all. However, the script for the movie was written by the light novel author himself, so I guess take that for what it's worth. I guess in his mind, does this make it canon? I don't know.
I
Um,
think they would have to come out and say whether it's canon or not. But either way, whatever they say, it does not matter whatsoever. I seriously doubt they'll ever even talk about this event again inside the universe of Danmachi. So,
Oh yeah.
yeah. It's
I
literally that one-off kind of story.
And that's kind of the big criticism that a lot of people seem to have of this movie, and it's not unfounded. In fact, I was looking through some reviews of this movie, and there was one in particular that had this sort of checklist, and I'm thinking, well, I kind of feel like I can confirm a lot of these things. Like I'm gonna go down it here.
Yeah.
Conflict that has virtually zero relation or impact to the main storyline.
Check.
Yeah. This is probably never gonna be mentioned ever again in all of Danmachi. One-off anime only love heroine that will never be mentioned again. Yeah, check. Artemis fills that pretty well. Cute as a button, but pretty I hate saying unnecessary. It's certainly necessary to the story of the movie, but
She's one-off.
yeah, one-off. That's all you can say. A one-off enemy.
Check.
Yeah, I don't even know what to say about the enemy of this movie.
It looked cool.
I guess, yeah, for sure. Is it funny that I can't even remember the name of the fucking enemy?
Oh God, I haven't even thought
can't
about
either.
it.
That's how generic it is. You can't remember it. You can't fucking remember it. And this is kind of what we mean. Like these criticisms are not unfounded. Again, a one-off power boost and OP weapon that will never be used again. Check.
Yep, hardcore check.
And then, of course, the end that everyone fights together, but they're useless because the protagonist has to carry the final boss. Check.
Hardcore check. God.
Yeah. I mean, all that aside, I still can't say that this is a bad movie because I enjoyed myself watching it, and I don't know why. And this is the thing about Danmachi. This is very unsettling for me with Danmachi because I want to know why I like this. I want so badly to know why I like Danmachi, and every time I sit and think about it, I can't.
I mean,
I seriously can't.
I think you might be overthinking it. Just like sit down and enjoy it for what it is. That's all.
Antares.
Antares.
That's the name of the main villain.
I was literally looking for it. I just read it at the same time.
I knew it was a Greek mythology. I knew it was in Greek mythology somewhere, and I'm like, and I also know there's a star named after this character, and I'm thinking Arcturus. I knew it started with an A, like Antares.
All right, Antares. That's the name of the enemy. Cool design.
Yeah. Cool design, but kind of a useless enemy. It's like an enemy that can't even really move.
Yeah. The only
Not a whole lot, at least.
Yeah, but still, it was neat.
And I will say the whole cliched thing about the King Arthur chosen hero thing was kind of literal because in the movie, Belle has to pull the fucking spear out of a stone. Or it's actually a crystal in the movie, but it's the same difference.
It's literally the same thing, just a crystal instead of a rock. That's the difference. That's it.
But that's literally lifted right out of the Arthurian legends.
Yeah.
And just like in the Arthurian legends, the second Belle pulls out the spear, whereas Arthur pulling out the sword and the stone. You hear a voice. You hear a voice of the fucking hero, and I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. Sell it to me, why don't you?
Not that it's like the worst thing in the world, but it was very copy-paste.
It was. There's a lot of elements to this movie that were copy-paste. It seemed like there were some elements from like the first season that were used like copy-paste into the movie. And I'm like, again, the first season was good, but do something a little different.
It was closer to the safe side. I'll agree to that.
Honestly, so I have a thing. I have a theory about this, and I want to hear what you think about this.
Okay.
If you really think about it, you don't have to know a lot about Danmachi to watch this movie. You don't even really have to know the characters because it kind of sort of introduces them quickly in the beginning.
Yeah, no, like you
Um,
legitimately could never have watched any of Danmachi and watched this movie. Like it's
yeah.
that one off. It'll help if you know the other characters, but because of how the movie is and all that, like you could just watch it on its own, and it's
I mean, well,
very self-expressive as to the relations between characters. It explains how the story so far in the beginning. So
yeah.
overall, you
Um,
could literally just go in blind and completely watch this.
and you certainly won't, if you have watched the first season going into this, you certainly won't be surprised at all by the fact that Hermes is still a shady fuck.
He's a lovely shady fuck, though. I
He's
love
just
him.
so shady, so shady. Oh my god! Like some, I feel almost like if he just told everyone what his motivations were up front, half of the bullshit that happens wouldn't happen.
I don't know. Like I feel they would still happen anyways, though.
Now I feel like if he had just come to Belle and said, "Hey Belle, there's this person who really needs help. And I think you might be the only one that could help." I have a feeling Belle's response would be, "All right, where is she? Let's go."
Yeah,
Why? I don't think there would have been any need for this whole like sword in the stone bullshit, like this contest, and of course he lies to him about getting a vacation. Of course, I just. I don't know. Hermes like motivations are
well, to be
really
fair,
questionable.
to be fair, they were trying to find someone that can be
Worthy,
chosen for it,
yeah, worthy.
worthy. Of course, it ends up being protagonist Kun, but obviously.
I mean, I just Hermes is distressing.
All right. So, talking about all this, what was the story? It's basically sword and stone, except this time instead of sword, it's a sphere, which it turns out to be an arrow, not a sphere, but it's that freaking big that you can use it like a sphere. Um, Bell
Well,
pulls it out.
the story itself is broken down into three parts. There's the sword and the stone. There's the epic road trip, epic fight. That's the three parts of the story.
Yeah, it's literally that. They hop on some. They pull out. Bell pulls out the sword. Hestia and Hermes
Spear
and
slash arrow.
Artemis goes along with them to on a journey to the place on dragons. They encounter people. They have a little fight sequence in the middle of the movie. Um, and you meet some more characters, more interactions, and then the big
Then you
secret gets
find out
revealed.
well, then you find out that all of Hermes' familia is already in on this whole fucking thing.
Yeah. You find out the big secret, which is what's Artemis that we've seen so far. It's only a little bit of her spirit that's left. Her true body has been eaten by this monster. And what was it again? Antares.
Antares.
Antares, and she's using what's left of her power to help to get someone to defeat it, and Belle was the one that's chosen for it. And the big twist is that she's gonna have to die because the monster incorporated her body into its own body, and it has a god's power now, which is super deadly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Belle goes,
Also the fucking moon turns into a giant bow.
no, 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 not the moon. That was a spell. The moon was still there,
I
but
know,
there
but
was
it
a.
looks like the moon.
Oh, sorry, you said that really in a really confusing way. Okay, so there was basically two moons up in the sky, and it turns out Antares was going to fire off a god arrow, and that would have destroyed basically everything. Um, so they were on a hurry up and kill Antares before it fired this giant arrow with the bow off. So it looked like a
Also
moon.
worth
A lot of
mentioning.
confusion was there for a moment. Sorry, go
Also
ahead.
also worth mentioning. Back in Orario in the dungeon, all the fucking creatures are going crazy and trying to leave the dungeon.
Yeah, and the Loki familia and what's the name? Freya's
Freya.
familia had to fight together to stop them from leaving the dungeon, which was
Yes.
a pretty cool scene. I say myself. I wish it was a bit longer, but you know it's fine. It was just a little bit of story. Uh, so everyone goes to the ancient ruin to fight Antares. The big secret finally gets revealed to Bell. He has to kill Artemis. That's trapped inside Antares' body. Um, he does it. Big power up boost. All that. All the standard shonen junk. You know the
Oh,
whole
and
thing.
don't forget about Ryu coming in like midway through and playing the part of Deus Ex Machina,
Did he?
the elf, the elf girl. It's like
Right.
the one that works at the bar, and it's like I used to be a level 4 adventurer, and it's like yeah,
Right,
sure you were.
her. God, I forgot about her. Yeah, her. She also showed up and helped. I had to take a solid moment to sit down and just be like, who the fuck is that? I completely forgot. I
Yes,
remembered afterwards, but yeah,
elf girl with the green hair.
yeah. Um,
I think it's green. I don't know. I'm
pretty sure.
colorblind.
Or light green?
I
Anyways,
don't know.
so that's the movie. It was really generic. It was okay. If you don't enjoy those types of things, you can absolutely skip out on the movie, but you know,
Yeah.
if
Well, you're
you
probably not
enjoy it,
watching this at this point if
yeah.
you're not. Yeah. Um,
It was a fine movie. If you enjoy it, you enjoy it.
I will say if you enjoyed the first season of Danmachi, you'd probably definitely enjoy the movie, as I did. I have to say the sort of quote unquote peril that Artemis herself was in, not the most believable.
How do
Like
you say that?
I it just seems very unlikely that someone as allegedly as powerful as she was and as smart as she was supposed to be, at least that's what Hestia says, um, would have even allowed herself to get into this position without a really good reason.
I mean, shit happens. I don't know
I
what
see
else to
that's my
say.
point though. You can't like rectify it in your mind. It's like they build her up throughout the course of the movie to be this like all powerful god, maybe not all powerful, but like uber powerful goddess, and then you find out, well, she basically got fucking trapped by a bug. So it's like I don't really find the whole peril believable. And also the fact that they kind of portray her as a new love interest for Belle, even though Belle is so fucking oblivious to everyone's advances towards him. Um, I don't even think she was portrayed as a very good love interest because like the attraction seemed very skin deep, if you get my meaning.
Yeah, there wasn't like too much to it, but then again, it was only a movie, so a shorter movie at that, so you really can't do too much with it anyways.
Yeah. I don't know, there's so much about Artemis that just I think could have been done so much better. I also think hyping her up along this journey as to be like uber powerful was probably a mistake. Should have been useless like Hestia.
Mm, maybe, but who knows?
Also surprisingly not that much Hestia service in this movie.
I'm kind of glad though, like you get her in all the other stuff anyway, so
Although I will say there's
like
that
she was
scene
in
when
there a decent amount, just not a lot of fan
yeah.
service, let's say.
I will say, however, that scene where her and Artemis are in the tent together and they're really close and they're in their underwear, A plus.
A freaking plus. There was there was a little tidbit after the movie where the director of the movie and someone else was there just like
Hmm.
they there was a interview they showed us
Yeah,
basically,
I believe the
and
other person was the character designer.
yeah, can't remember for sure though. Um, they were there and they were doing an interview, and one of them was just like, yeah, that was my favorite scene, and
That was my
everyone was
favorite
just like,
scene. Like,
yeah.
I also like the fact that he was asked like, what was the, I forget the exact phrasing of the question, how it was asked, but it was asked like, what was the most difficult scene to animate, and he gave this answer first as a joke, but he said that scene when Hestia and Artemis are in the tent together, I wasn't sure how much panties I could show. It's like, can we get away with all these panty shots?
And that they
But
could.
the actual answer he ended up giving was actually probably my favorite scene in the movie, and that's the dance scene between Artemis and Belle, because I actually thought that was played really, really well.
Oh yeah, it looked good. The music was just fine, and it, like there weren't any words being spoken, but the character interaction that was happening was rather sweet.
Yeah. And there wasn't like, I don't know if it was meant to be taken sexually, but it didn't come off that way.
It, I
Even though
don't
they're
think
kind
so.
of
It was
doing they're
more
kind of
like
doing it the way they're dancing is the way a couple would dance though.
it was, but it seemed more personal and intimate than that.
But not sexual.
Not sexual intimacy. Like just getting to know another person intimate.
Yes, which is a really weird way, like, let me get to know you, let's dance.
Yeah. It is unique though, and I will fully give the movie that. I was not expecting a scene like that at all, and it was a pleasant surprise.
Yeah. Also worth mentioning that the song that plays during that scene is really, really good. I believe it's sung by Yuka Iguchi, who also did the ending theme. I think. I'm not entirely sure, but I think. But yeah, that was good. Really well animated. Speaking of animation, I think we do need to talk about animation. So, this movie was produced by JC Staff. And as we've talked about in previous episodes of the podcast, JC Staff really overloaded themselves throughout 2019. And it's sort of shown itself quite a bit in some of the anime they've been doing this year, most notably in the Index Season 3 anime. I think I now know where a lot of the budget for the animation for Index Season 3 went. I questioned that motive, but okay. Because the animation in this movie was pretty good, I have to say. I wouldn't say it was stellar or anything to like really write home about, but it was pretty solidly animated. Even the CGI elements weren't terrible.
I really liked it because it looked good, and it kept true to its whole franchise, where the franchise looks really good, honestly, for how it's done and all that. And the movie,
Mm-hmm.
it upped the quality by just a bit where you notice it, but it's still the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But they kept it consistent also, and that was what was really cool. Only upping it at most during the fight scenes, which is some of the best scenes to up your animation quality on.
Oh yeah, for sure. And the dance as well. The dance had really good animation.
Oh, and that, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I I can't really find anything to like fault the animation for, but I also think it's not stellar either. But I can definitely tell that they spent more money on the animation for this movie than they did for the animation for Index Season 3. God damn it. God damn it, JC Staff, you have failed me again.
Listen,
Um,
the movie looked good, so it's fine.
yeah, I suppose. Um, Also, the sound design was really good, I suppose. The music, as we've mentioned, was decent. The OST and the BGM was all pretty decent. I would say comparable to the first season of Danmachi, which was done by the same person. The music for the movie was done by the same guy who did the music for the first season of Danmachi, who is Keiji Inai. I thought it was done really well. The ending music was really good. I mean, the technical stuff was all pretty middle of the road, I'd say. which is, I guess, at the end of the day, is what we've come to expect with Danmachi. I don't
I
know.
think so, but it's good though. It's the thing. Like, we enjoyed it ourselves. If you're not much for those types of animes or movies, then you're not gonna enjoy it. But end of the day, it comes down to a personal preference. But
Yeah,
overall, it was decent.
yeah,
Not the greatest, but not bad either.
yeah. I kind of wish that it had been just better.
I could see that.
I I did end up, for whatever reason, I have given this movie a 7 out of 10. I know, with all the complaints I've made, you're probably asking yourself why. I don't know. I enjoyed it. I guess kind of in the same vein as Premiere, which you will find out when we release the spoiler cast for that movie. I guess I kind of just see this as a popcorn movie, where it's like you can just go in, turn your brain off, and just enjoy it for what it is. Maybe that's why I enjoyed it, because I didn't go in with any expectations.
It definitely helps if you do that. Either expect something really low or go in with no expectations, and you'll probably be decently surprised. Now, that's
Yeah,
rather pessimistic, but I mean, it helps
but
live.
hey, yeah, I mean it certainly helps not be disappointed all the time. I don't know. This movie is very Don Machi. It's very basic,
Yeah.
and that's the best thing I can say about it. It's literally the best thing I can say about it.
Yeah. If you enjoyed it or anything like that, go ahead and buy it. I mean, it's
Yeah,
it's a fun movie to just put up on your TV screen as background noise or something if
yeah.
you just
It
want something
may
like that.
it may eventually be on High Dive at some point.
I
Now,
really
I
would
will
not be
say,
surprised if it ends up there eventually.
I will say, you and I only saw the sub. To my knowledge, they never even put a dub in theaters, um, which I thought was an interesting choice.
If it
I know that a dub exists for this movie, but it was never put in theaters.
Huh, that is actually rather interesting. It wouldn't surprise me. Maybe they might do another run with the dub specifically, or maybe they'll just have it on streaming service and
Yeah,
the Blu-ray release.
yeah.
So we'll
I think
see.
that's more like. I think that latter bit that you said is probably more likely to happen.
Yeah,
I will say this. I will say this. I was pleasantly surprised by the amount of people that were in the theater when we went. I won't say it was full, but I will say it was more than half capacity.
yeah, which was pretty nice. Although part of it might have to do with the fact that it was the week of Otakon, and like the fact that there was an anime movie in theaters might have also just been a it might have just been a huge coincidence that just happened to work out.
Could have been. And this theater was just down the road from the convention center where Otakon was
Yeah,
happening.
literally a block away.
Yeah. So I mean that all might have played into the where we saw the movie. I don't know how it was in other theaters,
I
but
can actually speak for this though. Around here in Maryland, around DC and Baltimore, just all around, honestly, there's a pretty decently sized weeb community. Um, it's actually rather strong too, and like you'll have a lot of people just walking around wearing anime shirts or merch, and you can recognize each other. There's events that happen now and then that are not just conventions, so we personally over here have a rather strong community, and we run into each other a decent amount.
well, there you go. If you are in the DC area, definitely check out your local weeb community.
Yeah, no, really, it's a pretty great community, all things considered. I don't think there's
I d-
anything else, Alex.
no, I don't think this is one of the shortest spoiler casts we've ever done. Of course, it's for a very basic movie, so I'm not surprised.
Yeah, fine
I mean,
movie, just very basic.
yeah. I guess now we get to go on to season 2 of Don Machi.
Yep, I've already started, and I am actually enjoying it. A lot of twists and turns that I did not see coming, but I really like it. I am looking forward to seeing your reaction to it because you haven't started yet.
No, I haven't. I actually will start the next week. Um, But on that note, thank you all there for dropping in to listen to us. We hope you enjoyed it because we always enjoy bringing this stuff to you. If you want to check out previous episodes of the podcast, you can find us on YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, and Spotify. If you want to keep up with what we're doing, you can join us on Discord, Facebook, Twitter, and our website. Shoot us an email if you have any questions or if you have ideas for topics you would like for us to talk about in the future. Links to all these things will be down below in the description. As always, I have been your host, Alex, and I will see you next time. Say goodnight, Shinoda.
Thanks for joining us. Have a good one, people.
God, this boob string is killing me. I gotta get it off now.